Good evening. Welcome to Egg Donation Friends' fifth webinar. Can everybody hear me well? Yes, perfect. Thank you. Okay, today's topic is surrogacy in Ukraine. From what should I start? And the presentation will be shown by Kateryna Sokolovska, a medical coordinator from Intersono IVF Clinic in Ukraine. Ms. Sokolovska assists all patients throughout their surrogacy journey at the clinic. Good evening, Kateryna.
Good evening, Dorothy. Good evening, everyone. It is a great pleasure for me to share my experience and information about our topic, and I'm glad to see such a high interest to this topic and to our clinic also.
Okay, can we start with the presentation?
Yes, sure.
Fantastic. Okay.
So thank you for everyone for coming here to sharing your time to knowing something new about surrogacy in Ukraine. From what should we start? Surrogacy, as well as egg and sperm and embryo donation and PGS or PGD, are regulated Ukrainian Ministry of Health. According to this legal act, the procedures of IVF, gamete donation, surrogacy are allowed and described in details. In terms of surrogacy programs, it is important to know that intended parents for the surrogacy programs must be married, and marriage certificate should be apostillized. In order to start, the intended mothers need also to have medical indications to surrogacy. And what is also an advantage, I think, there are no limitations in number of attempts. As you may already know, surrogacy is legal not in not so many countries worldwide. Ukraine is one of those lucky surrogacy-friendly countries where the rights of intended parents are protected by law, and their names are listed in the birth certificates of the children. According to Ukrainian family code, in case if the embryo was conceived by a married couple and a surrogate mother gestated this embryo and gave birth to the child, the parents of this child is the married couple. Intended parents are the only lawful parents of this child, so the surrogate mother is not going to transfer her parental rights to the parents in advance. Ukraine is a perfect location for your surrogacy journey, taking into account law, location, cost, and visa issues. Surrogacy in Ukraine is absolutely legal, regulated by law, and as I said, intended parents are protected by legal acts of Ministry of Health and Family Code of Ukraine. What else? Ukraine is located in eastern part of Europe with comfortable flight connections. Apart from being a wonderful destination for surrogacy, it is a country rich in culture and places for tourist attraction. So you definitely will be busy waiting for your beloved child to be born. The cost of surrogacy packages offered by our clinic is another advantage of Intersono, as it is sometimes 50 to 70% lower with the same or even better level of service. And the last but not the least, most of the countries of Europe, Americas, and Commonwealth of Independent States do not need visas to enter Ukraine. Another point that I would like to point out is that the easy flight connections make Ukraine even hotter destination for the people seeking such type of treatment. Surrogacy at Intersono Clinic is conducted in cooperation with charity foundation Life for Life. Since 2005, we performed 523 cycles and witnessed birth of 372 children, which is a miracle, I must tell the truth. Our oldest boy will be 11 years this May. We have no waiting list due to the possibility to have large choice of surrogate mothers. Our lawyers are experienced and qualified in preparing the documents for a large number of countries. And the main thing, it is very important for most of the countries because in most of the countries surrogacy is not legal, so you cannot speak openly about it. The birth certificate will contain your names, no information about a surrogate mother in this document. So, who can take part in the surrogacy program? According to our legislation, the couple should be married, the marriage certificate should be apostillized, and the mother should have a medical indication to surrogacy. It is such state of health that makes it impossible to conceive or gestate pregnancy without life or health-threatening conditions for the mother. By the way, numerous unsuccessful IVF attempts is also an indication. What we can offer? We have 4 types of surrogacy programs. It is a surrogacy program with own oocyte where you can either come to a clinic and perform all the stimulation, or you can come only for the egg collection and stimulate at home. There are also two versions of this program. There can be a surrogacy with frozen embryos. It can be basic surrogacy program with donor eggs, and our specially created guarantee package for 100% of childbirth, which covers unlimited number of attempts until the pregnancy achievement and childbirth. What do they cover? All of these programs cover surrogates screening and selection, medications in order to stimulate the endometrium for the transfer, whole IVF cycle, no matter it is a donor egg cycle, frozen cycle, or own cycle. Of course, the HCG test, medications of the pregnancy preserving therapy that is taking place between the transfer and up to week 12. Genetic tests, PRISCA1 and PRISCA2, as they are called in Ukraine, and worldwide they are known as combined test and triple test. Pregnancy screening during all the term, organizing of the delivery of the child in one of the Lviv maternity halls, compensation for the surrogate mother and in case if it's needed for the egg donor, and legal assistance in obtaining not only Ukrainian certificate of birth but also further assistance if it is needed. A very important part of our program is the legal support, because we understand it is even more important to get the baby home, not to get him or her born. Our legal team is constantly working to clarify all the details of the contracts and paperwork before signing for the intended parents, provide legal support and consultations during the program, prepare Ukrainian birth certificate for the child, and perform the Go Home package, which covers preparation of the documents required by the embassy or consulate of your country of residence in order to take the baby home. In case of need, our lawyer will go to the consulate or embassy with you. This is how Ukrainian birth certificate looks like. It is the document on the base of which you will be able to start preparing names, start preparing the documents further in order to naturalize your child at home. So it contains information about surname, name of the child, father's patronymic name in case if it's used, the city where the baby was born, the date, and it also down here it will show the name of mother and name of father. So it does not give any information about the surrogate mother. So how do we start the surrogacy program at Intersono? First, you will need to contact us via email, phone or website. Then you will meet your coordinator, firstly via emails or phone, then you can come to the clinic. You will need to fill in the patient form so we know more about you and your case. Then you will need to choose the package that suits you the best, sign the agreement, consult with the lawyers. If you have any questions, the lawyers will be able to answer and advise which options will be best for you. Then we are up to selecting the surrogate mother. As soon as the candidate is confirmed, we will be preparing her for the transfer. In case the egg donor will be involved, the egg donor is synchronized with the surrogate mother, and then they're stimulating together. So we have the fresh transfer, because our statistics show that fresh transfer are the best for the pregnancy achievement. Our coordinators constantly support our surrogate mothers during all the pregnancy term. The screening of the pregnant surrogate mothers is performed according to national protocols of obstetrics. The childbirth is taking place in one of the best maternity halls in Western Ukraine, where the surrogate is taking care of an experienced team of obstetricians, and the baby is under 24-hour control of the neonatology department. In the end, our legal team will assist you until your flight home, and even more after that. Our lawyers will be cooperating with your lawyers in recognition of parental rights and court proceedings. Our surrogate mothers are healthy young women, mothers of their own. This is a mandatory condition, without bad habits, and with full understanding of their role in the program and in the lives of intended parents. We are checking and screening our surrogates very thoroughly in order to have the best options for the intended parents. So you can see on the slide which tests we perform for them. So these are critical infections, the scans of the pelvic, the ultrasound of membrane glands, thyroid gland, internal organs. We are checking the hormones. We are checking the vaginal swabs, pap smears, and of course the gynecologist examination. Of course that torch infections should be seen. Also general tests such as blood morphology, biochemistry, echocardiogram. Each surrogate mother starts with psychologist consultations. Also, in case of need, they undergo the endocrinologist examination. They're consulted by a therapist, and they are done the echocardiography. And of course, they need to undergo the fluorography. Each surrogate mother has personal coordinator who supports her during the whole program, scheduling and reminding about the visits. Yeah, we know who our pregnant women are. arranging transportation, providing medications, organizing accommodation, constantly communicating not only with the surrogate mother but also with intended parents, sending videos, scanning test results, and arranging personal and Skype meetings. We are proud that our equipment and our experienced doctors allow us to see the baby even before he or she is born. On the big day, we arranged the surrogate's hospitalization in case it didn't happen before. We accompany her in the maternity ward. We provide her with all the necessary medications, communicating with the staff at the maternity hall, and support the surrogate and parents after birth. It is a very frequent question, so I'm going to answer beforehand. The surrogate and the child needs to stay in the hospital for 3 days after natural delivery and 6-7 days after cesarean section. The child stays in neonatology department where parents are free to visit him or her. The head of the neonatology department is a doctor with more than 20 years of experience, so she will be ready to answer all the questions regarding the health of the child. And also, if you wish, you will be also possible to do the first vaccinations of the child in the hospital. So I was speaking about go home package, and I'm gonna clarify what exactly does it mean. So go home package starts after the program is finished, so after we receive the Ukrainian birth certificate. So it covers the legal consultations and support after the program is finished. It covers the preparation of the full package of documents required by the embassy or consulate in order to apply for the passport or emergency travel document for the child. In case of need, it covers the trip to Kyiv to the embassy and translated everything there. Most of the packages are covering additional services, translation, authorization, apostillization, because most of the embassies are requiring it, and also assistance in confirmation or recognition parental rights or other court proceedings in naturalization of a new citizen in your country of residence. Intersono IVF Clinic is located in the city of Lviv, cultural capital of Ukraine, located 70 kilometers driving from European border. International airport in Lviv offers flight connections with most of the European countries and is located within 10 minutes driving from the clinic. Intersono IVF Clinic operates for already more than 15 years. During this time, we helped to give birth to more than 10,000 babies. We are experienced in treating male and female infertility, offer IVF, gamete donation, surrogacy, and many more treatments, techniques, and tests. I'm gonna name 4 top reasons why to choose Intersono IVF Clinic. We are proud to be a part of Medicover Fertility family. It is one of the biggest networks of clinics and hospitals in Europe. Apart from being licensed by Ukrainian Ministry of Health, we are also certified in DQS and IQNet international organizations for standardization and granted with ISO certificate. Our brand new embryology laboratory is the key to wonderful results in our pregnancy rate. More than 90% of our patients finally achieve pregnancy. In our legal egg donation and surrogacy programs, we have no waiting lists and no egg sharing. Having operated more than 15 years, we created special programs for the best comfort of our patients. Our egg donor bank comprises of more than 450 egg donors with proven fertility and wide range of phenotypes. Apart from 100% guarantee surrogacy program, we also have 100% guarantee pregnancy and get pregnant in the first attempt program. It comprises of unlimited number of IVF cycles with important fresh donor eggs. Our trained and experienced international patient coordinators will provide you with all kind of care and support. At Intersono, we are also offering one visit treatment, so you can save time if it is needed. And there is an own courier department at Intersono, where medical courier will transport your biomaterial all over the world from the points that you indicate to the point that you indicate. And we also offer an exceptional patient accommodation service. We are with you 365 days per year, 7 days per week, 24 hours per day, and everything in your language. We are proud to share our clinical pregnancy results in surrogacy programs. So it is 87% for programs with donor eggs, 73% for programs with own eggs, fresh stimulation, and 59% in programs with frozen embryos. Each and every day we are receiving feedbacks and new messages from our patients, and we are extremely happy to be part of every family grow bigger. As one of our clients told, at Intersono IVF you will meet understanding and sincere desire to help your dream to become parents to come true. And that is absolutely sincere. I'm very glad to announce a special offer to everyone here who have shared the time, who is interested in the topic. So in case if you sign the documents and perform the payment for the first stage of the program, we offer 500 euro discount for the first stage. So we start counting the time till February 6th. We are very glad to be a part of your journey to the dream. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Kateryna. Can we now go to questions and answers session?
Yes, sure.
Okay. Question number 1.
Who and which doctor can give the recommendation for surrogacy? Can a Ukrainian doctor do that? Suppose I had 7 failed IVFs and everything is very normal. In Germany, for example, it would be hard to obtain a recommendation. In case of 7 failed IVF, I would say that you would need to provide documents from these IVF cycles, so some protocols of stimulation, some maybe cultivation protocols and so on, because failed IVF is by itself an indication to surrogacy. So more than 4, it is an indication. I hope it is clear.
Okay, Kateryna, can you repeat the last sentence? I think we had a slight problem with the connection. You were talking about indication for surrogacy.
Yeah, so indication for surrogacy by itself is failed IVF, more than 4 failed IVFs.
Perfect. Okay, that's what we needed. Thank you. More than 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the second question is, what is apostille?
Apostille, it's a... What is apostille? So apostille is a special stamp given by normally the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. It is legalizing the document for the countries of the convention who signed the apostille convention.
Okay. Question number 3.
What about couples that are mixed heritage? Um, in case
Or mixed race
if
with different background, yes.
Yeah, so in case if it is a mixed background, normally in world it is taken that the residence of the child is given by the residence of the father. Even if the people are using sperm donor, in case, for example, the father is Irish and mother is English, for example, the baby will receive the Irish passport.
Question number 4.
Is surrogacy an indication for a woman who is, an example, over 50 years old? Just an age is not an indication for the woman who is over 50 years old. It can be an indication to egg donation, but not surrogacy. Sorry.
Okay. Question number 5.
Do you have egg donors from different ethnic backgrounds as well? Yes, we have different phenotypes. So you will need just to speak to our coordinator and choose whatever phenotype you are interested in.
Okay. Question number 6.
Is the immunity of the surrogate mother tested? Um, It is tested by the general tests. In case if there are any problems with the general test and in the test that I have mentioned, then additional consultations of the doctors are prescribed. But in case there are any immune system problems, the surrogate does not proceed to the confirmed program.
Okay. Question number 7.
How do you bring the baby back to the United States? The process with United States is pretty clear and I would say an easy one because comparing to other countries. So United States citizen just will need to DNA test to confirm the paternity. So the child and the father will need to provide DNA samples. When the lab sends the results, it will be submitted in the consulate in Kiev, and they are giving the passport in, I guess, up to 2 working days.
Question number 8.
We have 4 own frozen embryos and looking for gestational surrogacy only. Is there a package for this request? Yes, it is one of the packages that I have mentioned. It is a package on frozen embryos. In order to get information, please contact us via email, phone, or our website. So we will be able to clarify all the issues and organize the transportation.
Question number 9, please.
How complicated is to obtain the birth certificate and the travel documents? We are citizens of European Union. Can they be obtained by the parents themselves or it is better through the clinic? How much does it cost this service as part of the whole package approximately? European Union is a very wide term, so I would need to clarify which country it is, because for different countries there are different procedures. For Bulgaria, for example, is not the same as for Ireland, and the cost also depend on that.
Okay. Question 10.
7 failed IVFs and 1 pregnancy but lost in the first 8 weeks. Is it enough to be qualified for surrogacy program? We are not married. Will this be an obstacle? Can we certify our partnership or is marriage mandatory? Firstly, 7 IVF and 1 lost pregnancy is absolutely an indication in case we have some documents confirming that. and being not married is an obstacle, so we are not going to start the program until we have the apostillized marriage certificate.
Okay, next question, question 11.
Can we use both donor egg and own egg and partner sperm and for implanting embryos in the surrogate? Yes, sure. Combined cycles are also popular.
And again, question about ethnic backgrounds. Question 12.
What are the backgrounds of egg donors and sperm donors? Are they worldwide ethnic backgrounds? I'm from Caribbean, partner is Irish. There are lots of ways we get the donors into the database, so we can get any person all over the world. You will just need to tell what you need.
Fantastic. Question 13.
What is the program cost for gestational surrogacy with own frozen embryos? It is approximately 37,000 euro.
Okay, question 14. The question is from a British couple.
I see. We are based in the UK. What is the average time to gain a UK passport to travel home? There is an also DNA test involved in this process. It normally takes 1.5 to 2.5 months to stay in Ukraine. So you'll need to take that into account.
Okay, question 15.
What if you have 2 failed IVF cycles and a heterosalpinx which prevent you from having the embryo implant? Is it sufficient for the surrogacy program? I would need to consult with our fertility doctors, so I won't give you the wrong information. So we will need just to clarify that issue. Sorry.
Okay, question 16.
It's the same, I guess.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
It's okay.
Sorry. Okay, so question 17. Let's call it 17 now.
Can I have the same ethnic embryo and egg? I would need to clarify that question because I don't quite understand it.
Yes. Well, I don't have the name of the person who asked the question. Okay, let's leave it for the end and let's answer next question. We will answer that at the end.
Sure.
18.
Have you treated couple from Ireland? Yes, sure. We have a really good experience in cooperating with Irish couples.
Great. Question 19.
Do you accept frozen embryos which are deposited in Prague and will be transported to you? Yes, sure, we have such an experience.
And maybe an additional question, can you arrange transport of such embryos? Is it possible?
Yes, sure. We have a courier department that can transport from any point in the world to our clinic.
In fact, we have an upcoming webinar about the subject. So if anyone is interested, you can join us next week, next Tuesday. The webinar will be about cryo shipping of frozen eggs and sperm. Okay, let's go back to the questions. Question 20.
Do you test couples before they go onto surrogacy? What if you can help them? Um, Normally, we are asking our couples to come to the clinic with the results because you understand that surrogacy is the last hope, I guess I can tell such a term. The couples normally undergo all kinds of treatments, but in case if it is needed or in case there are no test results available, of course that our clinic provides the possibility to test everything from head to toes.
21.
How long does it normally take to find a surrogate mother? It doesn't, there is no waiting list if it is meant. Normally we are needing to around between 1.5 months in order to check the candidate before we can offer her to the intended parents.
Okay. Question 22.
How many embryos are transferred in surrogacy program? So it is up to 2. You can choose between 1 or 2.
And again, a question about timing. Question 23.
How long does it take to start surrogacy after signing the agreement? Here I would need to clarify whether it would be the frozen own or donor cycle, because we have the surrogates, but we also need to understand how much time the donor in how much time the donor will be ready, the patient will be ready. In case everything is going according to the plan, we can plan the transfer in 1.5 months.
Is it for frozen donor eggs or for fresh cycle?
To tell the truth, we are very rarely using the frozen donor eggs. It is for the statistics, for the clinical pregnancy rate. It's better to use the fresh donor eggs. So in case if the donor is available in the database immediately, then it will be between 1 and 1.5 months.
Okay, fantastic. Question 24.
Do you accept frozen embryos which are deposited in the USA? Yes, we can do that.
Question 25.
What about matching the egg donor's looks? The database of the donor consists of the photos of the donors, so you will be able to choose that by yourself, or if you wish, you can give your photos to our coordinators, and they will be choosing the best looking like you donors.
Okay, question 26.
How long do we wait for the donor and surrogate mother? How many embryos will be transferred in one cycle? So you will need to check in the database, because there is the availability status of the donor in the database, and you don't need to wait for the surrogate mother. They are already ready waiting for the intended parents, and we can transfer up to 2, either 1 or 2 embryos in one cycle.
Okay, question 27.
How many attempts does a couple have to get a baby with your package? In order, if it is a basic package, if we are speaking about donor eggs, it is as many as they are ready to pay, because every try is paid additionally. In case if they have the guarantee package, it is no matter how many tries they are getting, they still will get a child.
Thank you. Question 28.
What is the success birth rate of your surrogacy? So, as I mentioned, it depends upon the cycle. If it is possible, I will I will show the slide where the information is. So in case we are using egg donation, it is 87%. In case these are fresh own IVF cycles, it is 73%. And in case of frozen cycles, we have 59%.
Okay, question 29.
What is the cost for egg donor plus surrogacy, and what is included number of attempts? So speaking about the basic program, it is paid stage per stage. So it is paid, for example, for signing of the documents, then you are paying for one transfer. In case if it is positive, then you are moving to the next stage, which is paid on the 12th week of pregnancy, and then if everything goes well and the pregnancy is progressing, it is paid on 26th week. In case the first transfer is not successful and you have frozen embryos, you can try another cycle on frozen embryos, and it is paid additionally, and it can be done until the pregnancy is achieved. So the number of attempts you're ready to pay for. In case it will be a guarantee package, then it is unlimited number of attempts.
Great. Question 30.
Where are the prices published? In order to get the prices, you will need to contact us, because we will need to understand which program you are interested in.
Okay, we have question 31.
Do you help with legal documents once the baby is born? Does it cost extra? Yes, of course, we can help that. We will need to know the country of your residence. After the baby is born, the program covers obtaining Ukrainian birth certificate. This is the base for all the rest of the documents. And if you will need help apart from Ukrainian birth certificate, it will be costing extra, and it is named Go Home Package. The cost, the exact cost will be depending on the country of your residence.
Okay, thank you. Question 32, I think a very interesting question.
When you transfer embryo into surrogate, can you also do the same for the intended parents? Yes, we can do that, but in case if there are indications for the parent to do the transfer to herself, that can be a problem, or not problem, but some question in indications to the surrogacy program. I hope you understand what I mean.
Okay, question 33. This is from Mel.
Are we able to bring the baby home right away, or do we have to wait for the paternity test? If it is speaking about UAE, or anyway, it's for any country. You cannot come home without paternity test, because without paternity test, the embassy is giving you the passport or the emergency travel document. So before you get the travel documents, you will need to stay in Ukraine.
Okay, question 34, again about prices.
Could you give an example for egg donor plus surrogacy program price with one transfer? How much do the several stages cost? So the whole program costs 41,000, and in order to get the description of the stages, I will need you to contact us, please.
Okay, question 35.
How long does it take to have the papers of the baby ready for Portugal? I guess it will be up to 2 months.
Okay, fantastic. Question 36. Average attempts to achieve pregnancy. What's the number of average?
Average from all the statistics that we counted since 2005, it is 2.5 attempts.
2.5.
Yeah, but it is for 500 something cycles.
Thank you. Question 37.
How is the process for shipping embryos from USA? Do we need to come 2 times or just 1 time after shipping embryos? Firstly, how is the process? You will need to clear out with the lab your embryos are storing in. You will need to sign the consents to letting them out, and then sign the documents for our couriers in order to give them right to transport them. And next time you can come to pick up your baby home, because the documents in surrogacy program are possible to sign distantly.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any more questions?
38. Do we need to stay in Lviv until the papers are ready for 2 months? Yes, that's it. There is also possibility to stay part of the time in Lviv, part of the time in Kiev, because the embassy is in Kiev.
Question 39.
How long does the papers take to travel to Romania, assuming both parents have Romanian citizenship? Here the process will take up to 3 weeks, I guess.
Thank you. Question 40.
How long is it to wait for an appointment after shipping embryos? We can organize an appointment even before shipping the embryos. We can discuss all the details and then just proceed with the shipping, so there is no need to get back after they are here at Intersono. If you don't stay 2 months, who looks after the baby? That's an interesting question, but we have possibility to hire some nanny who will be helping one of the parents if the second parent needs to go back for work, for example.
Okay, let's wait for the next question.
Yeah, looking forward.
Yeah, this is question from Piotr.
Okay, what information do we get about the egg donor? Is it published somewhere? Yes, the short portfolio is in the database, and on request, the coordinator of the egg bank will be able to give the medical history, where the heritage diseases, all the family history is written, and also the extended profile.
Question 43 from Catherine.
I see. How long is the wait to be matched with surrogate mother? Do we select, or does doctor select the surrogate mother? So we do not wait, because there are some surrogate mothers already waiting, and we will be combining your requests with the doctor's recommendations. Of course, that you will have your voice. I guess question 42 was
44.
44. I see. What is the normal wait time to get travel documents for baby for Irish citizen? 1.5 months.
Okay, question 45.
Is egg donor photo available as well? Yes, definitely.
I think Ukraine is one of the few countries where actually you can see photos of
Yes.
egg donors, correct? Yes?
Yes, that's very absolutely correct.
Question 46.
Are the surrogate mothers vaccinated against MMR? I would need this to be described because we maybe we have in Ukraine some different abbreviations.
Mark, can you specify what you meant? Maybe our viewer can add some more information. Let's wait.
Measles, mumps, and rubella. Yes, it is a part of the vaccination plan for all the people in Ukraine. So for sure, the surrogates will be having that.
We're waiting for a question from Mel and Mark, I guess.
Yeah.
Questions? Question from Catherine.
Yeah, I see it. Does the hospital have a NICU available for babies in case they need intensive care units? So the maternity halls in Ukraine, they have NICU department stage 1, if you know. So they are having standard NICU units, but in case if the help and intensive care is needed, the children are transported to special children hospitals where the intensive care units stage 3 and 4 are located.
Perfect. Question 48 is already there.
Is the birth certificate in Ukrainian or English? So it is a state document, it is in Ukrainian, and we are providing the English translation and apostillization. On request, of course, it can be done into the requested language.
Question 49, 50.
If the mother is U.S. citizen and father is only resident, how is that handled? I would need to consult with the lawyers whether it will be possible for such couples to start the program.
Okay, we have a question from Catherine.
Does mother or father get hospital room during birth of child, or is child only able to be visited during certain times prior to hospital discharge? Second version is right. The child can be visited by the parents. Unfortunately, there is no possibility yet to stay with the child since the birth time.
Okay, question from Piotr.
How many donor eggs are guaranteed from the donor? Is their embryo number also guaranteed? They guarantee 12 eggs and at least 2 blastocysts.
Thank you. And the question from Richard.
Can you perform surgical sperm retrieval if you are meaning Tessa? Yes, we can do that.
Okay, fantastic. Do we have any more questions? Let's wait.
Yeah, I guess Piotr is having some. You're welcome.
Yes. Okay, we've had so far about 50 questions. That's quite a lot. If anybody else wants to ask a question, there's time. Yeah, Robert.
Does Ukraine has some strict requirements regarding import of embryos for surrogacy? As far as I know, it is a very good question in order to ask in the next webinar that our courier will be speaking on. But as far as I know, the embryos should have been tested and nothing more strict.
Okay, a question from Dawn.
Do we have initial meet and greet first before signing up? It is both. If you wish, if you have time, you can come personally to our clinic. There is also possibility of signing the documents distantly.
Thank you.
Catherine? If we have embryos ready, is there packages available just for surrogate and hospital without IVF meds? Catherine, you would need to understand that there can't be any IVF because the surrogate needs to be stimulated. So she will need to be stimulated with her endometrium, and if the embryos are frozen, they still need to be thawed, cultivated, perform the assisted hatching, and then perform the transfer. So we won't be able to avoid the IVF medications.
And there's one more question from Sarah.
For the question about a guaranteed number of donor eggs, is 12 the guaranteed number for all surrogacy and egg donor packages or just for the unlimited attempts package? It is for all the surrogacy and egg donor packages.
Okay, any more questions? Yes, Dawn is typing.
What is unlimited then 20 plus? It's the question not of the number but of the quality. The biggest number does not mean bigger quality of the eggs. They are guaranteed 2 blastocysts.
Okay, perfect.
You're welcome, John.
Okay.
Catherine, what is recommended number of embryos for transfer? In case these are fresh embryos and they are of good quality, I mean up to AB, the doctors normally recommend for transferring one of them. In case they are of lower quality, or in case the woman is over 40 years, or in case these are frozen embryos and that will be defrozen, then the doctor most probably will be recommending transferring 2 of them. Welcome, Sarah.
So let's say the embryo is of C quality, so the doctor probably would recommend transferring 2. Is that right?
Yes, you're absolutely right.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we have 2 more questions.
Also, if on the first egg retrieval there are not 12 eggs or 2 blastocysts, is there another cycle performed? Yes, and it will be for free for you.
Okay, fantastic.
You're welcome.
And question from Catherine.
Can we decide to transfer 2 embryos, or is it up to the doctor only to pick one versus 2 embryo transfer? Of course, it is up to you. The doctor can only recommend, but you decide finally.
I think it's very important for patients.
For sure. Yes, we understand that.
Exactly. And one more question from Dawn.
Sorry, what if the intended parent's eggs are over 40? Does that mean that you transfer more number of embryos? Is age a factor? Yes, it is statistically confirmed that implantation is lower if the patient is over 40. That's why to increase the chances of pregnancy with at least one embryo, it is recommended to transfer 2. But of course, that finally the patient is making his decision.
If you are interested in this subject, you can also watch our webinar on IVF with donor eggs over 40. Dr. Uliana spoke about that topic. Okay. Are these all the questions? There's one more. I I can see.
Piotr, I see. It means we could ask for transfer to embryos to the surrogate mother with donor eggs. Yes, the coordinator will be asking you to sign a consent form that you understand that there is a risk of multiple pregnancy, which is considered to be a risky pregnancy, but still you have such a right.
Okay, question from Carolee, but I'm not sure if we understand.
I'm not sure what. Yes, me too.
Let's ask for specification. A question from Catherine.
What specific letter do I need to provide from a medical doctor in USA that states we need to use surrogate, or do I just send my medical records over for review? I think first we will need to check the medical records. In case there are no direct indications, we will need to the doctor to state that this patient is impossible to conceive or gestate the pregnancy, or in case the state of the United States allows surrogacy, it can be stated. Gestational surrogacy is recommended. You're welcome. Do you get involved in the surrogates diet, etc.? Yes, during the pregnancy screening, the obstetrician gynecologist is working in pair with the nutritionist. So the nutritionist is creating the diet specifically for this lady.
Rachel is typing. Let's wait.
Rachel's question: how do you confirm the surrogate is not using alcohol during the pregnancy? She's doing the test during her visits to the clinic, and it can be seen there.
And I think you select surrogates based on some very, very detailed questionnaires and tests. So,
yeah, sure. It can be understood when the surrogate is using alcohol, so she does not go further than first interview.
Exactly. And smoking, Piotr asks.
Yes, also the smoking and drugs. So they are undergoing 3 tests on every visit. It is a nicotine test, drug test, and alcohol test.
Great. Question from Catherine.
Can the initial appointment can be done via Skype, FaceTime, or is it via telephone? Since embryos are ready, I will tell you more. It can even be via email.
And question from Rachel.
But what happens if they fail a test? On my experience, the people that were in the program already did not fail any of these tests because they were thoroughly chosen among a big number of surrogate mothers. What about exposure of surrogate to sexually transmitted diseases by their partner? In their agreements, the surrogate mothers have such a condition that they are not allowed to intercourse during the pregnancy. That is why it's not possible to expose it.
Okay, there's a question from Anna Mona.
Yeah, I see it. How often are the visits by the surrogate generally, and also for the 3 tests, alcoholic drugs, nicotine? Last part, these tests for alcohol, drugs, and nicotine are done during every visit. So the moment she steps into the clinic, she is going firstly to these tests. And generally, when the surrogate is coming for the program, she is coming maybe every 10 days, every 2 weeks, in order to get the examinations done. Then in the process of stimulation, she's coming to us every 4, 5, 6 days, depending on how the doctor wants to see her. After the transfer, in 2 weeks after the transfer, she will have the HCG test. Then in case if it is positive, in 2 more weeks, she will have the 6-week scan. And then she will have a 9-week scan, so in 3 weeks. Then she will have in 3 more weeks 12-week scan, and then she will be coming to the clinic for the pregnancy screening. In the second trimester, it will be once in a month. If it is the pregnancy screening, sometimes they are coming more frequently in case if the obstetrician who is providing the pregnancy screening, he wants to check them more often, for example with the twins. Then the closer to the delivery date, the more often they need to come. So starting from week 12 and closer to the week 40, firstly they come once in 3 weeks, then once in 2 weeks, then every week, and sometimes in the end of the pregnancy they can come maybe 2 times a week.
Great. Question from Dawn. Can you see it?
Yeah, what if there is a problem with the unborn child? Do we get to decide what happens to unborn child? Does the unborn child classed as a successful? I guess I will be able to answer to the first part of the question. So only intended parents are able to decide what happens to unborn child. If there are any problems.
Parents, as if, yes.
Yeah, so as soon as only genetic parents are the only lawful regarding that, the only thing is that in case there are some genetic diseases, we will need to go through the procedure in order to confirm it. So sometimes it can happen that the NIPT tests come in positive, then we are obliged to do the amniocentesis, which can confirm that 99.9%.
Okay, there's a question from Catherine.
Does the doctor recommend for surrogate to abstain from sex 6 weeks, 2 weeks before transfer and 4 weeks after transfer? Also, is there bed rest done day of transfer? So starting from stimulation, so it is 1 month before the transfer, the abstination is obliged, and until the end of pregnancy. And regarding the bed rest, normally they are staying in the clinic overnight after the transfer, sometimes a couple of nights, and then they will be able to be free to go home.
Thank you. Question from
Suhandra. Yes. Does the surrogate mother live in the hospital accommodation during the process? She lives not in the very hospital, but in the apartment rented very near it. So it's like on 5 minutes walking.
Okay, just to remind everyone, the whole recording from the webinar and the slides will be available on our website and also on our YouTube channel. Question from Carly.
Can you apply a notch process into endometrium when a doctor places embryo? I will need to clarify that because I don't quite understand.
Notch process, I'm not sure as well. Okay, in the meantime, we have a question from Catherine.
What is the average waiting time to be matched with surrogate? We don't need to wait until to be matched because there are surrogates waiting for the intended parents, and in order to begin a cycle for surrogacy, it will be depending on which. I guess Catherine is meaning the frozen cycle, so we will just need to depend on the cycle of the surrogate mother. So we can start the program in the second phase of her menstrual cycle.
Okay, thank you.
Scratch test. Okay. If that is
So, yes.
true, if that is true, yes, it can be performed. No problem, of course.
Okay. Okay, we will continue for a few minutes as long as we have some more questions, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
Those questions which were not answered because we lacked information, they will be answered on our website. We will try to get the answers from our experts and published it in our news section. Okay, is it the last question then? Okay, Kateryna, would you like to add something for our viewers and patients?
Yes, I would like to thank everyone who showed interest into the topic. I hope that I was able to answer your questions. I am sincerely hoping to meet you in the future, not only as the nicknames, but also as real people. And I would really glad to be of help for all of you.
Okay. Thank you, Kateryna, so much for the presentation. And most of all, thank you to our viewers. Thank you for being with us, for asking great questions. I hope you learned a lot. And I would like to invite you next Tuesday for our webinar about cryoshipping of frozen biological material. I hope you will enjoy it as well. And thank you very much again.
Yeah,
So that's
thanks
all
a
for
lot.
tonight. Thank
And
you very much. Okay.